And this is game 3. After resolved mulligans, me and Daryl both mulligan down to 6. I keep a 1 lander.
And chooses to pay life for the Gataxian Probe.
I need land. And I have to keep my Spell Pierce open to stop any acceleration that he may play. Which in the end I think I just end up taking and waiting for the Koth.
And draw a card.
Not a mana. That is not what I'm looking for.
So you miss the first land drop. In rough shape. And to rip some lands here. Daryl, on the other hand, has the mana to play his Chalice. And a land.
Thankfully. Would have been really helpful last turn.
Running better.
Turn 2 Stoneforge.
Well, turn 3 went better than turn 2.
And this game so far is going better than last game.
And another land. No basics, though. No basics. Would have been nice to hit that Stoneforge there.
Yeah, if I hit that Stoneforge, it pretty much sets the pace of the game. He hasn't played anything to this point.
And you leave up Spell Pierce, and it pretty much forces him to play the Koth out the way, but there you have a Stoneforge. And then you would get to search up whatever you wanted.
And
be able to drop it in.
Cheat it in.
Yep, for sure. It's the difference one land can make over another. Most definitely. And elects to play the Stoneforge here, leaving up Spell Pierce mana.
Search out. I believe I go for Feast and Famine in this one. After game 2,
just
those shadows were very, very brutal. And
it might have scared you out of running out your War and Peace.
Yeah, at least early to draw one out.
I think you almost have to do it, though. Just the tempo, the swing it creates is kind of hard to come back from. I mean, Feast and Famine is a good plan, but you can't always play around Shatter.
I agree. In hindsight, I may have gone for that. I think, honestly, in my opinion, I'd probably have gone for the Batter Skull over it to just put in another body and deal with any planeswalkers you might throw it afterwards.
A nice lifelink body at that.
Yeah.
Also should be noted.
That vigilance on it, you can't really take that for granted either. That comes up huge.
It's true. Lays up a blocker as well. Another Koth. That is the 5th Koth of the match. Swing. Bash down to 16.
And draw into...
Is it a Gideon Jura?
Gideon Jura, yes. Oh, I like to play a Spellskite. Probably
swing.
I think it's actually Spellskite's probably my favorite, if not second favorite, out of New Phyrexia.
Really?
Yeah, I think Obliterator might be number 1.
Okay.
Obliterator's number 1, Spellskite. Not simply because, obviously, in that situation where you see right here, Daryl just elected to go right for the Spellskite.
Okay.
As opposed to let me use the blue mana or 2 life to do it.
4 life was pretty important.
It is. It's huge. Daryl helps me out a little bit in putting himself down.
Use too many of those spells, they're going to come back to bite you. But he has a pretty controlling board state. You're kind of mana screwed, so... And a Molten Steel.
Forces you to do a lot of things that you might not want to do. And here's where the pain train comes.
Swinging for 4. Is he? No, he's leaving it up. Is that right?
Animates and pass, flashing something. 2 mana open. It's either a Shatter or a Lightning Bolt, and the Chalice does not represent anything. But he needed 1 red for something.
Squad Hawk comes in, resolves. Brings a squadron with it.
A squadron of what? A squadron of hawks.
It very well is. Only 2. So trying that last one could potentially hurt a little bit. It's a pretty bad draw. I've had it happen to me before, and it's pretty much the worst draw your deck can give you at this point.
Honestly, I think I'm getting off that Squadron Hawk bandwagon.
Not feeling it?
No, I'm fine with Cawblade. I'm fine with the deck, the general premise of it.
Okay.
I'm experimenting with something else at this point to see what type of advantage I can get out of other cards. A 1/1 beater, if you're looking at this deck, he just shatters every time I play an artifact.
I mean, the card advantage you get is pretty big. Just the fact that you get to... It's essentially a draw 3. Draw 3 bodies as well.
Draw 3 bodies, yeah.
Draw 3 bodies to wear your equipment. So,
But I'm tinkering with something.
It
so
doesn't
we'll
seem
see
awful.
how it goes.
but I mean, drawing 3 bodies to wear and equipment is generally more of a Boros mindset than a Cawblade mindset.
I think it fits both agendas very well.
Mm-hmm. Boros
Your
is definitely
Boros deck in particular
more of the aggressor.
It's probably my favorite version of Boros that I've seen.
Yep, big Boros.
Very, very well balanced.
Boards in. A full play set of Cunning Spark Mages. So, we'll get to see that eventually. And he shatters the Batter Skull. That's pretty rough. It's interesting he chose Shatter over
Crush.
Crush.
I think it hits a bit more. You're going to be seeing a lot more.
It hits Worm
artifact
Coils.
creatures.
You're right, it does hit the Spell Scout, which is kind of annoying as well. Definitely annoying. Now, the Gideon Jorah, here you're going to force him to attack.
Which the correct play seems, in hindsight, to assassinate that big Molten Tail, or Molten Steel.
Most definitely. I assassinate all the time, but again, not what I've experienced playing the deck. Probably contributed to allowing the Molten Steel to stick around.
Yeah, honestly.
Because here, the Gideon, he swings at the Gideon effectively does nothing to the board. Just buys you a turn.
Viewing this game in its entirety, I've come to the conclusion it's probably one of my worst played games I've ever produced.
And hence the match of 1,000,000 misplays.
Yeah, I just don't know what was going on. And another Spell Scout. I am happy to see that, but there's a path to victory still. I think I can, at this point, I could still pull something out.
You can still salvage it. You do have another Gideon in hand, so as long as you assassinate that dragon.
Which apparently, with a 2-mana tap, looks like I'm just going for the Spell Scout. Which I don't.
Okay.
I go for another blocker on the Molten Steel. Again, another curious line of play which I probably shouldn't have taken. That avenue is a dead end.
But we'll see where it gets you. The shatter on the Batter Skull hurt pretty bad.
That's very rough.
That is pretty rough. Any kind of life gain you'd love to have.
Especially against a deck that hits as hard as Big Red, this Machine Red.
I mean, if I was going to formulate a sideboard plan, for the basement these days, I'd probably definitely consider a Baneslayer Angel.
Baneslayer is very positive.
Especially in this matchup, where the Molten Steel is doing a lot of the work, or the Kadoltha Phoenix. Really, nothing Baneslayer doesn't have protection from, or won't just completely annihilate in battle on first strike.
Yeah, actually, Molten Steel that I mentioned, it's huge because it's actually a dragon.
It is.
And not just an artifact creature, it's an artifact dragon.
Indeed. It's a big game.
He can pump it all he wants. It's only +1/+0 on that Molten Steel. It's not a.
It's going to get hit
+2
with first strike.
And +1/+1.
That first strike's going to get it every time. Pro Dragon's going to get it every time as well.
I heard a story that Daryl made a misplay against you with Pro Dragon and the Baneslayer.
There was a Steel Hellkite. It was a different deck, though.
Different deck?
So I'll give him the out there. It was a Grand Architect. He generally does play mono red, so again, they're not playing the deck as much as another deck you could play. Jeff definitely has a downfall. You almost always want the deck you're most comfortable with, even if a different deck is more powerful.
Yeah, which in this case I was not prepared for New Phyrexia. Didn't get a lot of time to playtest during the week, so I elected to go with just the most simple concoction.
I feel you on that. I went with a stock Boros list, and I did pretty well. Came in second, but
hey! I don't want to give away all the videos yet, friend.
Well, we'll see. We'll see which one I lose. But the big issue with Spell Scout is it's the fact that it's impossible to target anything else. It really makes the whole package of the Spark Mage a little bit worse.
What was actually interesting was brought to my attention is when you have Splinter Twin and you're casting it, you can change the target of Splinter Twin over to your Spell Scouts.
That's not bad. That's
it was brought to attention. I did not. It didn't occur to me
And you
just
can,
hearing it.
And you can tap it right away.
You can, and produce another Spellskite.
That's true.
To draw more fire for you.
No matter what they do, you're going to get value out of that.
And I can't seem to pull the trigger on that Gideon in my hand, which would do huge amounts of damage for me and put me right back in this. Especially with this amount of creatures that I can put out the turn right after I assassinate, even if Gideon goes to the bin.
I mean, it seems like he doesn't have another Molten Steel. I mean, maybe he's playing around a Day of Judgment, but it seems unlikely.
In Game 2, he had the second Molten Steel in his hand. He was waiting for me to have some sort of answer for it, I guess. Or Day of Judgment, which another card I can't seem to draw in this matchup. Which would... I'd probably pull the trigger on... Just seeing as I haven't pulled it on Gideon yet, I probably would pull it on the Day of Judgment before I pulled it on the Gideon. Because I'm a man of a million misplays in this round.
I mean, from seeing the list so far of the red deck, it seems like targeted removal might be a little bit better than the Day of Judgment here. I mean, you've generally had more creatures out. They've just been much smaller.
I've been working on mono black, and with that, I felt like Cawblade's a bit weak in the selective removal. And with that, actually black's a very strong suited color for myself.
Indeed.
I have to say that this match did play a lot into my playtesting and my decisions for my mono black list that you'll probably be seeing next week in videos, hopefully.
I wholeheartedly agree. And a double blocking.
As opposed to the Gideon kill, which I could have eliminated that, but...
a few turns ago.
Definitely just a couple turns.
Might have had a pretty big impact on the game, I think.
Yeah, that's...
Even if... Because the first Gideon just took a ton of damage to the face. But again, I just think that's inexperience playing the card. Sometimes there's just nothing you can really do about that.
I mean,
except play the card.
At any point, if I play that Gideon, I just pull the trigger on that Assassinate. Like, I even played one Gideon prior, and I didn't pull the trigger on the Assassinate. Like, if I play one and I Assassinate, it turns that 2-lane street into a 4-lane highway.
Whip. Equip.
Taps the 2.
Shatters.
Yeah, and...
Spellskite is targeted, and that's pretty much game. You are tapped out, forced to swing. He can still pump his dragon to get you.
I'm only at 2 life. No matter the amount of life gain I have, he's still at, I believe, 16 at this point. I can deal X damage, but it doesn't really matter.
You definitely... That Gideon would have turned this game around. But nothing you can do now?
Oh, nothing. But,
you just gotta learn from it, get better. You'll be flipping up a different Planeswalker next week, perhaps?
Yeah, I think I might be giving something a try. I don't think it's any $50 Planeswalker currently released, but you know, it's a very, very positive Planeswalker. Very positive, creates good advantage for yourself.
It's big in casual formats.
It is actually. It's an EDH favorite.
It is. Agreed.
And this is the end of Game 3. Daryl ends up taking the win over here. And, well, as you guys all were witness to yourself, I could not pull the trigger on that Gideon, which would have definitely opened things up. But
I mean, there were misplays throughout the entire match, though. There were
very sloppy gameplay.
Indeed, on both sides. From the deciding not to pay the Spell Pierces, the 2 mana for those, and not pulling the trigger with Gideon, and just a mess on both sides.
Yeah, this is not a very fundamentally sound video for you guys to watch if you want to learn anything. The only thing that you can take away from this is don't make these same mistakes.
Yep, pretty much you should title this one What Not to Do.
I think I might include that in the title somewhere. Alright, so we'll catch up with you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed watching What Not to Do when playing Cawblade against Big Machine Red. And JT, I guess we'll see them later.
See you next time.
See you later.